Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. First two verses we'll chant together, okay? भेदा भेदौ सपदि गलितौ पुण्यपापे विशीर्णे मायामोहौ क्षयमुपगतौ नष्टसन्देहवृत्तेः शब्दातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं प्राप्य तत्त्वावबोधं निस्त्रैगुण्ये पथि विचरतां को विधिः को निषेधः यस्त्वात्मानं सकलवपुषाम् एकमन्तर्बहिस्थं दृष्ट्वा पूर्णं स्वमिव सततं सर्वभाण्डस्थमेकम् नान्यत् कार्यं किमपि च ततः कारणात् भिन्नरूपम् निस्त्रैगुण्ये पथि विचरतः को विधिः को निषेधः. So, these blessed ones, the jnanis, have gained the knowledge that is beyond words. Shabdatitam, we saw that. Beyond words means beyond being an object of the words. So it's not an object. It cannot be an object because it is you. So you are beyond words in the sense that words cannot capture this I. Words cannot capture. Impossible for the words or the mind to capture. And so then, why do I need the mind for this knowledge? Well, you need the mind for this knowledge not as an agent of the knowledge, but as a receptacle of the knowledge. So why do I need words if the pramana, if the means of knowledge is in the form of words, how can this knowledge be beyond words? This is another question that is always asked. The knowledge is beyond words, even though the means of knowledge is in the form of words, because the words that are deployed in the form of the means of knowledge, words handled by the Guru, you know, the words of the Shastra handled by the teacher, only indicate, they don't name, they don't capture, they don't objectify. They are like a signpost. This is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi always used to say. They are like a signpost. You know, sometimes you go to some, if you're driving from place to place, then you see some rest area. So you go to the rest area, and then you'll be looking for the washroom, and then what does it say? Sometimes there is a hand there, and it says, washroom this way, restroom this way. So you look at that and you know where to go. Similarly, the words Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Satchidananda are like a signpost that go to that place which is already self-evident and self-lit. It just points to you. That is, you don't need to be pointed at all. But in this pointing, it shows, it shines the light and dispels the snakes of doubts and despair, and shows the Atma free of all aropas, free of all adhyasa. Very, very beautiful. And so Shabdatitam, Triguna-rahitam. Triguna-rahitam means this knowledge is, beyond the matrix of the three gunas. And we'll be discussing that a lot more because this is the last line of every verse. So the three gunas, very quickly, what are they? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So Shabdatitam, this knowledge is Triguna-rahitam, free of the three gunas, But then we have a little objection, a so-called contradiction. Why? Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, what does he say? Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. He says the Veda is full of this comes under the spell of the three gunas. And Vedanta is part of Veda or not? Quick. Yes. So then we have a fix. We are in a very big fix now. If Vedanta is part of the Veda, and if none other than Bhagavan Krishna, who is a walking, talking Pramana himself, has said, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha, then we are in a fix, because here it says, Shabdatitam, Trigunarahitam, Avabodham, this Jnanam. How are we going to resolve this? Now, see, that's why this is taking so long, because you see how involved it is, each thing. So now the way to look at that, we have to borrow the light of the Mundaka Upanishad, where Shaunaka is told by Guru Angiras, Dve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. Two kinds of knowledges have to be known, para and apara. And so, of course, the question is, then there is a akanksha, expectancy. What is apara? What is para? Apara means not absolute, relative. And para means absolute, the knowledge, knowing which there is nothing more to know, nothing more to want. So para and apara. So what is apara? The Guru Angiras starts with a big list, the head of which is the Veda, Rig Vedaha. Wait, what? That includes Aitareya Upanishad. How can it be? I thought that was the ultimate knowledge, and here it is being reduced to Apara Vidya, non-ultimate. Rig Vedaha. Oh no. Yajur Vedaha. Oh no. Sama Vedaha, Adharva Vedaha. So all the Upanishads gone. Rig Vedaha, Aitareya Upanishad gone. Yajur Vedaha, so many Upanishads, Kathopanishad, starting from Kathopanishad gone. Shukla Yajurveda gone, Krishna Yajurveda gone, Sama Veda, Chandogya Upanishad, big cross. Correct? Yeah. And then finally what? Atharva Veda, Mundaka Upanishad, which is itself talking about this, para and apara vidya, gone. Ayyo, what to do now? What shall we do? So, therefore it is, and then, okay, let's not worry about this. Let's quickly go to the next topic. What is para? Because when things are so difficult, you just move on. So let's, a small little, exercise in avoidance. So let's move on. What is para? And here the answer to this is given. Yaya buddhi vritya vritti jnanena aksharam adhigamyate sa para. That is what is called absolute knowledge, absolute of that self, which knowing which nothing to want, nothing to gain, nowhere to go, nothing to pursue. What is that? Yaya, by which thought frame, when we talked a lot about this vritti jnanam before, by which vritti. Vritti means a thought that arises in the mind in response to the transmitted teachings handled by the teacher, which makes the words of the Upanishad come alive. That potentizes the words of the Upanishads, and then it's given in such a way that there is a kind of a reaction or a response in the mind, and that response through which this knowledge is caught, because it's really not so much taught as caught. So, but that response, that mental frame, of a prepared mind through which the knowledge is caught is called vritti jnanam, which is opposed to ajnanam, which dispels the ajnanam, and then what? And then one says, I know, aha, you see, that is triguna rahitam. That is triguna rahitam. Veda very much part of sattva, rajas, tamas. And then Therefore, Shabdatitam, Triguna-rahitam, Prapya Tattva Avabodham, and I told you even one prefix, Ava, you cannot ignore. Ava means what? Yesterday I said, that which has well descended, assimilated. Yeah. So, avta prapya tattva avabodham, nistraigunye pathi vicharatam. Vicharatam means these people who are wandering. They are wandering not because they have nowhere to go. They are wandering just out of just because wherever they go, there they are and they know it. They have nothing particular to do, nothing to accomplish, nowhere to be, nothing to want, nothing to lose, nothing to gain. So they just simply are wandering, frolicking, you can say. Vicharatam, frolicking, where pathi, on the road. Pathi means on the road. And then, what kind of a road? Nistraigunye pathi. On the road that is free from the three gunas. Only this knowledge which is given in the form of words, which is internalized as the truth of oneself, is free of the three gunas. Nothing else is free of the three gunas. The three gunas are the color palette of Mother Maya, the goddess. Yeah. The primary colors through which she paints the Jagat. And what is that? Don't say red, white and blue or whatever it is, okay? Yeah. Sattva, saintliness, godliness, compassion, reaching out, all these things are sattva. Rajas, in balance it is what? Movement. Imbalance it is restlessness, anger. Tamas, in balance it is repose. When it is imbalance, tamas is resentment, tears, all these things. So she paints the whole Jagat. And then if you look at the picture, you are also there. Your body, mind, sense complex is there. Oh no, I'm trapped in the painting. As though I told you. I'm trapped. And so every jiva in the painting, he says, let me out. Let me out of this dystopia, of this horrible, it's like a bad sci-fi, dystopia, where this Jagat is just getting worse and worse, and I am trapped in the Jagat. You are not trapped. The body is, yes, within the palette of the colors, body is there, mind is there, senses are there, yes. Who are you? You can be the one who is admiring the painting. If you identify with Satchidananda, you can admire the painting. If you identify with the body, mind, sense complex, you have a feeling of saying, let me out. First it is let me in. I want a body. Every disembodied jiva wants a body, because without a body, what can you do? Without a body, you are a nobody. Yeah, so you want a body to experience various things in the Jagat, including this knowledge. So one clamors to be included in the painting. Let me in, let me in. So Bhagavan takes pity and then calls for forces, Maya, etc. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, the Shaktis to do Kriya Shakti, the Shakti to manifest, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, all these Shaktis. Shakti to know what to do, all these things, the blueprint of the whole Jagat, everything is planned and executed for the jivas to have a little kshetra to frolic. And then what? And the same place where you frolic becomes a noose, becomes a kind of a dystopia where you are trapped. Like that old movie, Truman something. You remember that one? Truman Show. Yeah, he was trapped in a bubble and he thought everything is real, but he was, part of some experiment. And so like this, everything was there. Bank was there, what else, flora, fauna, everything was there. Shops were there. He thought he was going to work. Office was there. His house was there. Everything was in this big bubble. And so like this, if identifying with this body, mind, sense complex, one is in a dystopia of, a nightmare. Waking up with a nightmare, with the Suprabhatam sung by the teacher, and based on the Shastra, the Upanishad is the Suprabhatam, and then you wake up from this nightmare, and then you say, thank God I'm out of this painting. And then how do I do this in the life? It's nice and easy for Lord Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha, He Partha, Nistraigunya Bhava Arjuna. How to become Nistraigunya, how to become free of the gunas, how to step out of the painting without having an out-of-body experience, because we don't need any more of that. The second line of the shloka itself gives some, tips, practical tips. First thing is, catch hold of sattva. But that's also a guna, yes. But it is a guna that doesn't have an imbalance. You cannot OD on sattva. You can't. You can't have enough sattva. And it is very close. The compassionate, being compassionate, reaching out, being saintly, being non-reactive, all this is extremely close. Close to what? To the Atma, the nature of the Atma. Catch hold of sattva. Less rajas, less tamas. More and more and more what? Sattva. Fir kya, Then nirdvandvo bhava. Nirdvandvo bhava, and that we have seen a lot in detail. What is dvandva? Bheda, being caught in bheda and abheda. Dvandva means conflict. Dvandva means, a lot of difficulty. Dvandva also means a great deal of, what is that? Two sides, What should I do now? What should I do then? Maybe this, maybe that. Dvandva is indecision, and Dvandva is the main primary feature of Kali Yuga. Kali, And so, therefore what? Therefore this has to be properly, completely and properly understood. Nirdvandvo bhava. We have seen this in detail, And not to get into sides. Don't take sides. Be with yourself. Let all the sides just keep on taking their own sides and other people's side. You be sideless. No sides. Nirdvandvo bhava. And then niryogakshema bhava. Niryogakshemo bhava. Yoga and kshema, they are technical terms for different kinds of things that one wants in life. Yoga is what? Apraptasya prapanam. What you don't have, you want to get. That is called yoga. And then kshema is praptasya rakshanam. What you already have got with great difficulty after fighting off a few people, that you protect. This is called kshema. Yoga and kshema. These two words have an Upanishadic origin. In the Kathopanishad, we see this very, very clearly, Mandaha yoga kshemat preyo vrinite. The manda, the one who is a aviveki, manda literally means dull. Dull means dull to adhikaritvam. So the manda, the aviveki, the one who doesn't have the qualifications for Vedanta, chooses what is called preyas, things that are easily available and easily classifiable as dear, instead of shreyas, the most exalted end in life. So when preyas is caught and when preyas is chosen, preyas means anything that is finite, is chosen over the infinite, then why do people choose the finite repeatedly? In other words, why do people choose the finite infinitely? People choose the finite endlessly because people are afraid. afraid of losing yoga and kshema. Losing this ability to get what they don't have and losing what they have gained. So the yoga, kshema, both of them become powerful propellants for being able to have this, these pursuits. And here, niryoga kshemo bhava, Arjuna is advised as a way for what? To become free of the three gunas. The three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, especially rajas and tamas, thrive when the yoga, kshema pursuit is there. So, wanting something makes one restless. So one pursues it restlessly, competitively, gets angry when it's not there. You see how rajas has become imbalanced and taken over? And then the anger gives way to tears, disappointment, frustration, and then that is again tamas. So this yoga and kshema are very much connected to rajas and tamas. And when I give up yoga, kshema, I have started, the spiritual pursuit for real. This is very true. Very, very true. So that's why, since it has this Upanishadic origin, the words yoga and kshema are already there, in the Bhagavad Gita it has an abiding presence. In the 9th chapter, Bhagavan makes a promise. And what is that promise? Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye janaha paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam, what? It has become so famous, the Life Insurance Corporation of India has taken over this particular thing. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. They will take care of what you want, and what you are unable to get and unable to protect, they will protect. That is how they have become famous, and that's how they have made this line of the Gita also very famous. Bhagavan says, your job is to find me and see me as the truth of yourself. You just do your job. Your job is to become a jnani, really, to walk as a jnani, to talk as a jnani. You leave the rest to me. And rest means what? You leave yoga and kshema to me. What you want, you leave to me. What you don't want, you leave to me. What you don't have and you need, leave to me. What you want to protect also, leave to me. I will take care of it. It is a promise. This is not some promise made by some, roadside riffraff. This is a promise made by Bhagavan. It has to have some, if we don't have trust there, what else can we trust? No, but first Bhagavan has to give something to me before I give up yoga, kshema. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You first let go and see. Even with food, that's what happens. If you're meant to eat, food will come. Oh, so if I don't go to the dining hall also food will come? Maybe not today, but after 2-3 days, it will definitely come. Somebody will say, oh, where is this person? What happened? It will happen. If you're meant to eat, it will come. If you're meant to go to the hospital, it will happen. If one is hurt or something, if they're meant to go to the hospital, it will happen. And so, the more one lets go of all these, managing and manipulating things in life, then, there is a different door on a different realm that opens where things just happen and you just step into the flow of all the things that happen. These are all, practical things to take on in one's life. And you don't have to start with something drastic like not coming to the dining hall, but you can start with something small. Small things you can see. Small yogas and kshemas you start giving up, and then that will give you the confidence to graduate to bigger yogas and kshemas. Okay? So, nistraya gunye pathi vicharatam, for these people wandering on the path of the Atma, the path that is the Atma, because you can't say path of Atma, because the seeker and the sought are not two different things, they are one and the same. So the one that is wandering on the path that is nothing but themselves, on the path that is Atma, ko vidhihi, ko nishedhaha. In fact, the first portion of the Veda, Karma Kanda, is what is called Vidhi Nisheda Paraha. Paraha means ready, committed to. Vidhi Nisheda Paraha, Karma Kanda. So the Karma Kanda is known for being full of injunctions. Do this, do this. If you want this, do this. If you don't want this, don't do this. Injunctions and prohibitions. Nishedha, prohibitions. Vidhi, injunctions. Svarga kamaha somena yajeta. May the person desirous of going to heaven offer a yajna with the help of soma juice. Juice pressed from soma leaves. And you can imagine how many people wanted to go to heaven, but the poor soma juice is extinct now. Soma leaves, nobody knows what is soma. Yeah. And they pressed it out of extinction. And then, kalanjam na bhakshayeta, do not eat, anything that has crawled meat, crawled, creeped, walked, etc. Suram na pibet, satyam vada, dharmanchara. All these are injunctions and prohibitions which comprise the whole first portion of the Veda, because the first portion of the Veda, like I told you earlier, is trying to put you on a diet of dharma. Yes. And then equipped with this dharma, then it becomes easy to ask the other questions, or the relevant questions. What are they? What for I'm here? And then what is the purpose in life? And what does this dharma translate to? Okay, now I have achieved dharma, what next? So it makes one moksha paraha, it makes one ready for moksha, committed to moksha. So the first portion of the Veda makes one committed to moksha. And so therefore what? Therefore it has a purpose. It has a purpose for whom? For the one who is unable to overcome the force, the vega, the pressure created by the desires. For them, these injunctions and prohibitions are needed. Otherwise, the anarchy will be the only rule. There is no rule of law, there is no golden rule, only anarchy. I want this and I'm going to bash the head of somebody who is having it and take it forcibly from them. No, you cannot do that, says the Veda. There are rules of engagement. No, but I badly want this. Okay, I told you already, go cut some soma leaves and press the juice and do the yajna. Make the bricks, do the yajna. So they were on the diet of yajna all the time from morning to night, because every desire was made into a prayer. It was a nice way to Ishwaraize every desire. To look to Ishvara, to look to Ishvara's help to overcome the hidden variables to get whatever they wanted. And that way, everybody became automatically dharmic. Because if you are getting up at 4 o'clock and doing yajna, all day long and praying and doing this yajna, bhuta yajna, manushya yajna, deva yajna. Yajna means any kind of sacrifice. So there were duties towards people, duties towards atithi, guest, a drop-in guest had to be fed, duties towards, animals, duties towards trees. This was a spiritual ecology where that interconnectedness was given everyday expression. So then, as a result of that, there was no time to plot somebody's, downfall. No time. And everybody slept well. There was no need to go to a sleep doctor and, be observed while sleeping. No need. Everybody, there was nothing, no conflict, because one was in tandem with dharma. But for the one who has internalized this dharma and for the one who has gained the knowledge, for which dharma is the first step, for them what rules? What rules are you going to tell the jnani? Don't do this, do this. The rules have outgrown themselves. You don't need to go and tell the jnani, you know what? You please be dharmic. Jnani is naturally dharmic. The jnani doesn't feel the need to break the rules because the jnani is beyond the rules. There is nothing to prove. Needs no validation. Nothing to prove, including the fact, oh, I am above all rules. There is nothing to prove there also. So if there is a rule, there are rules. If there is a rule, okay, 12:30 is lunch time. The jnani will be the first one to show up there. Yeah. Why? Because why to break this rule? What am I getting by breaking this rule? I know I am beyond this rule. I can go, I need not go, I can go at a different time, but why bother? There is a rule, it's for everybody else's convenience. I just go along with the flow, because in every rule, the jnani sees Ishvara. And therefore, no rules apply to the jnani. Ko vidhi, what vidhi you can give, It's like catching air and telling it to do yoga. Please get into the down dog position. You tell Vayu, yeah. How can you do that? No vidhi. For that one who is all pervasive like air, one who has gained the knowledge of oneself as being beyond this body, mind, sense complex, as being Sarvatma, then ko nishedha. What injunctions, what prohibitions. Meaning, you can't say, oh, let me see the number of injunctions and prohibitions. No, this is a rhetorical question. In Sanskrit called aksheparthe kim. Not prashnarthe kim. Sometimes there is actual question, Like for example, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, the student asked the question. Aho vidvanamul lokam pretya kaschana gacchati. That elongation is for a question mark. Prashnarthe kim. After the body goes of the vidvan, what happens to the vidvan, the person of knowledge? Where does the person of knowledge go? This is not a rhetorical question. This is prashnarthe. But here, ko vidhi, ko nishedha. What kind of rules can ever there be for a jnani? In English it's called rhetorical question. In Sanskrit it's called aksheparthe kim. Okay? Yeah. So that is the refrain for all the stanzas here. Next one. Yahatu, the one, whereas or indeed the one who atmanam sakala vapusham ekam antar bahishtham. So for drishtva, yahatu goes with the verb in the second line, drishtva, having seen. So the one indeed who has seen. So what have they seen? Drishtva means matva, understood. The one who has understood. What have these blessed ones understood? What have they understood? Atmanam, they have understood the Atma as what? Sakala vapusham. As not being confined just to this one body. In fact, the Atma, the I is in all bodies. The I in you is the I in me, is the I in the tree. This is what, and the I in the bee, if you want to complete the rhyme, So that they have understood. Without a shadow of doubt that the I is in as though inhabiting this body, but it is not confined to this body. This is called sakala vapuhu, sakala vapus. So sakala vapusham atmanam matva jnatva drishtva. They have seen the Atma, they have understood themselves to be not just confined to their body, mind, sense complex. These blessed jnanis, these saintly beings, they have, understood a lot here. And then, Sakala Vapusham, and then when you understand this, what happens? There is no outside and inside. Antaha, inside. Bahihi, outside. So this one Atma is both inside, from the standpoint of the body, mind, sense complex, you say it's the indweller, Pratyagatma, and then And then who is the outdweller? If there is an indweller, there should also be an outdweller. Correct? At least I think so, because I think like this relationally. So, if there is an indweller, there is an outdweller. Who is the indweller? Oh, Pratyagatma, the one that says, I am. When you ask the question, are you here? Okay, then who is the outdweller? Huh? Outdweller is also I. Indweller is also I. Because how many Atmas are there? One, Abba. Okay, so yeah, the Vedanta teacher should be the one that's easily satisfied. Yeah. So, one Atma. So if there is that one Atma, then is this Atma inside or outside? You know? Ayyo, that's a very difficult question. Because if it is inside, then it cannot be outside. Then if it's outside, how to get it inside very quickly? You know? But this inside-outside is also Atma. Because what? Tasmad va etasmad atmana akasha sambhutah. Akasha means what? Space. Space is the delineator of outside and inside. So before we ask the question, is Atma inside or outside, we have to see where did this space, which is the factor here which is under consideration, come from. Again, the Taittiriya Upanishad declares that this space is what? A product and as though product of Atma. Tasmat, from that Brahman, etasmat, which is indeed this Atma, Akashaha Sambhutah. This space is an as though manifestation of Atma. Atma is not manifest in space. So you cannot say, what should I do? Where shall I place the Atma? Is it inside or outside? Please tell me definitively. Like if now we have something here. Oh, the other ones have also come. Yeah. Now we have abundance of pots. So this is a new pot, glazed pot, yeah. And this one, supposing, now we are not talking of the pot, even though I'm holding up the pot, what are we talking about? Space in the pot. So the space in the pot, if it has a human mind, what will it say? Let me out. I want to be one with God. And what is God for the pot space? Space. I want to be one with Akasha. Akasha is God. Om Akashaya Namaha. That is its mantra. It is doing japa every day. 7 to 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. It is doing japa every day. Akashaya Namaha. I want to be one with space. And it even tells the pot, why don't you go like this? Maybe I will come out and join space. And then it's upset with the pot. Because the pot is like its body. When will I, and then it becomes very poetic. Because when there is vipada, vipada means difficulty. Poetry comes out, When will I shake off the mortal coils and join the space at large? It asks. Yeah. And then it needs a space guru to come. Yeah. Not a space doubt guru, okay? Yeah. So it needs a space guru to come. This can be the guru pot, yeah. Space guru, because you see, very open, yeah. A space guru can come and say, Ayyo, you are not pot space. You are, space. Really? I'm space? Yeah. In fact, you are not in space. If you identify with a pot, you will say, I am in space. But if you identify with space, you will say, what? I am space. You won't say, I am located in pot. You will say, pot is located in me. This is what the knowing ones, the jnanis, have understood. Ekam antastham bahistham eva. There is nothing, and therefore they are sakala vapusham. Ekam antar bahistham. Drishtva, having seen. And having seen what? What is there to see? What is inside? Nothing. What is outside? Nothing. What is in space? Nothing. And may one not come to that wrong conclusion And therefore there is a caveat here, and the answer is given in the second line in the word Purnam. So what do they see, what do they know inside and outside is limitless. Purna means completely limitless, full. Full in a nice way. Full means total. Nothing to, nothing to get rid of, nothing to have, nothing to, no aversion, no attraction. Limitless, total. So they are full because they are not wanting anything. And so therefore, this Atma is full of itself in a nice way. And it is complete in itself. And then, what happens? Swam iva satatam. Swam means themselves. They see themselves, they know themselves as totally full when at all times. And the same idea of Sakala Vapusham is repeated here. Sarva Bhandastham Ekam. Bhanda is the universe. So it is the whole universe. I am nothing but the entire universe of names and forms ensues forth from me. Bhanda is another word for universe. It's like a huge, huge receptacle that contains all names and forms, which is called universe, and this universe is an extension of me. I have brought this universe into being. I sustain this universe. Unto me, this universe resolves. Mayye vodeti chidvyomni jagad gandharva pattanam atoham nakatham brahma sarvajñam sarvakaranam. Advaita Makaranda. Mayi eva, in me alone, in the space of the heart, chidvyomni, Jagat Gandharva Pattanam Udeti, is born, is manifest, is comes to light, is seen. What? The whole Jagat is seen in me alone. As what? Like even a sky town, a town made up of clouds. And this is somehow, you can tell, if you're traveling with a child, you can tell it to amuse itself by looking at various shapes. Look, rabbit. Look, elephant. Look, house. Oh, that kind of looks like our house, doesn't it? And look, there you are coming out of the door of this house. Look, this cloud looks like a Ganesha. That cloud looks like a, mouse. And all this you say, and then what? And then suddenly there is the sun, the fog is there, fog comes, and then all the names and forms that you saw, the sky town comes to laya, comes to repose, it's not there anymore. Or the clouds, the wind gust comes, moving the Ganesha, the house, the mouse, everything away. And then again it changes shapes, etc. So this Jagat is also like a cloud town. It's like a cloud town. Nowadays the word cloud has a different meaning. That's where all your important documents are, okay? Yeah. In fact, it has become more real than anything. But that's not the cloud we are talking about. Here, this is a different cloud. Here it is the whole Jagat rises and falls and ebbs within me, the Jnani says. What? Like even the shapes in the sky rise and ebb depending on the sun, the movement of the wind, etc. And therefore, how can I not be Brahman? Because this is what it is. When you wake up, the world wakes up. When you go to sleep, the world is, comes to a laya. And like this knowledge, because of this knowledge, they can say, Sarva Bhandastham Ekam Purnam Brahma Ahamasmi. That you have to, this Ahamasmi, you have to extrapolate and you have to add. They are able to say there is no outside, no inside, no forward, no backward, nothing at all. And then what? Na anyat karyam kimapi cha tataha. Tataha, therefore, na anyat karyam kimapi. So there is no cause at all. Kimapi, at all, no cause at all. Karyam, no effect, karyam, effect. Na anyat. not at all is there any effect, which is what? Karanat bhinna rupam. That is, there is no effect that is separate from the cause. Very beautiful. And here this is, it looks like Shukadeva is remembering his Chandogya Upanishad lessons. This is Vedanta. Just like we have a few things at our hand, snake and what? Rope, snake, pot, clay, and then gold ornament. And effect is cause, but cause is not effect. This we have to memorize. Effect is cause. Like, how many ornaments? 1 million ornaments. How many golds? 1. How many pots? Numerous pots. 1 clay. Numerous pots. That's why the teacher of Shvetaketu, his own father, Uddalaka, says, Ekena mritpindena sarvan mrinmayam vijñātam iva bhavati. By examining and understanding 1 lump of clay, the whole world of earthenware is as good as known. So there's only one thing to know, that is you. You know you, knowing you, nothing else is left to be known. It is actually wonderful, very, very beautiful. And here is a very, very beautiful, thing of Vedanta, a lesson in Vedanta, which the blessed ones, the jnanis, have internalized completely. So they don't see the name and form for what they are. They transcend the finitude of the name and form, so to speak, and see the cause in each thing. They see the cause. The cause of pot is what? Clay. They go immediately to the cause. Just like when you say, knock on wood, you go like that. This is an expression. And so I'm knocking on what? A table, but or this shape here. But I have transcended the shape, I have transcended everything and go straight to wood. To say knock on wood, I don't have to go walking to the lumber company next door. There is one Sailorsburg lumber. I don't have to hug a 2x4 to say touch wood. No, sitting here I can say knock on wood. And then in America, if nothing is available, they say knock on wood. Yeah, no comments on that, okay? Yeah. So, touch wood, knock on wood. And even where there is no, where there is no wood per se, it's something made of wood. It is wood vikara. It's a modified form of wood. But I can transcend the table, the legs, the shape, the modification, the varnish, the paint or polish that is put on this. And I can say, knock on wood. It's as simple as that. Wherever you see effect, there must be a cause. And you go to the cause. But then I'm stuck with clay. No, you go to the cause of clay. What is the cause of clay? You can say particles, molecules. Then finally what? Here is where even physics is, comes to a standstill. Then you have to have another branch of knowledge called quantum physics. And then you wonder, is this a wave? And then it helpfully waves back and says, yes, I'm a wave. Are you a particle? Okay, I'm a particle. That means the observer is affecting the experiment. That means that which is observed is non-separate from the observer. Then quantum physics is a quantum leap into Vedanta, really. And so you go all the way. Tree seed can put you in a cause effect can put you in a bind. So you go to Brahman, Ishvara. Everything you Ishvara. That is what I keep saying. Ishvara is the universe. Ishvara is the body. Ishvara is the mind. Ishvara is the senses. Ishvara is everything. The cause of everything is Ishvara. And and the effect is non-separate from the cause. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani Pashya me yogamaishwaram. You know? So, matsthani sarva bhutani. Nothing is separate from me. O Arjuna. Again in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, nothing is separate from me. And the next line he says, Nacha matsthani bhutani. I am separate from all of them. Nothing is separate from me because it's mithya. It relies on sat. It relies on sat. It is all mithya. Every name and form is mithya. But mithya is never away from sat. Mithya is sat. Sat is not mithya. So it all relies on me. Without me, nothing has its being without me. But I am not any one being. Because if I was any one being, then there would be, anantya hanihi. Anantya hani means a destruction of the argument of limitlessness. Then Bhagavan will start to have a location, where is Bhagavan? Inside, outside, all these problems will come. So, there is no name and form without the presence of Bhagavan. And the presence of Bhagavan, is there in everything. The whole universe is therefore sacred, you cannot destroy. And then what? But Bhagavan is not any one thing. Limitless. Then Bhagavan must have lost a lot of weight to become the Jagat. No. That is why it is called Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. It is that which is the manifest as the raw material and the maker without undergoing any change. That's why the name of Bhagavan is Vibhu. Vividham, Vividha Pratyaya Gamyam. That which is known through many, many cognitions. Pot cognition is Bhagavan cognition. Hat cognition is Bhagavan cognition. Mat cognition is Bhagavan cognition. In-law cognition is Bhagavan cognition. Outlaw cognition is Bhagavan cognition. Whatever is cognized, Bhagavan. What is the cognizer? Bhagavan. And the process, the means of cognition, Bhagavan. This is what the whole thing is. Very, very profound, very beautiful. Very, very, meaningful, beautiful, extremely profound. And so, this has to be understood. As a jnani, this is naturally understood that every effect inheres, in every effect, the cause is manifest. But the cause is free from being effect. Just like, we have seen this, ornament, gold, and then what? Pot, clay. You can have so many examples like this, And that's where the Sakala Vapushatvam comes, the Sakala Vapuhu, that I am in all bodies, I am in all beings. But how to translate that in the everyday? This is something very interesting. You can help yourself with some, how to have this understanding, practice this understanding. Until I gain this understanding, what can I do to help myself? You can have this, how to do this very, very, easily. If you consider, for example, that, if you take a look at where this I-ness is present, where is the I-ness present, then you understand the limits of this I-ness extend up to wherever the sensation is present, and sensation is a short form for the sense of touch, correct? Sense of touch. So, if you were to take a pin and then prick me here on the finger, what will I say? Ouch, why did you do that? Correct? But if you poked the air between two fingers, I'll say nothing happened. And therefore this is me. Here, what is this? Not me. Me. Not me. Me. Not me. Me. Not me. Not me. Me. Not me. Me. Not me. Very interesting and arbitrary. So your body identification is really skin deep. Yeah, that's all. And if you consider this, then you can see that it's just a sense of touch that is, amplifying this body identification. This is called, in the Shastra, Sahaja Tadatmyam. It is needed to protect oneself. Otherwise, it's like this. There's one English woman who had a stroke or something. She regained all her faculties except for the sense of touch. She has no sense of touch. Comes back bleeding every time and dropped a whole kettle of hot water over herself. Has to go to the hospital once a week on a regular basis because she has no ability to sense what is happening. You see, then that's a walking danger, correct? Somebody has to accompany her all the time. And so therefore, the sense of touch is gives a natural body identification, which is Ishvara Srishti. Sahaja Tadatmya, Ishvara Srishti. It is there. Everybody has it. Even the Jnani has it. I keep giving the example. If you go behind the Guru and say, Boo Guru, instead of Bho Guru, and then do an experiment. Will the Guru jump? And then what? And the Guru will, then you say, Aha Guru, you jumped. Guru will say, body jumped. Yeah, I did not jump. So this is what the whole thing is. So this is Sahaja Tadatmya. And then why this particular body I have? Why this ahankara, this jiva, this particular is identified with this particular body? Why not that body? This is also Ishvara Srishti. It is called Karmaja Tadatmya, an identification based on karma. Can you remove Ishvara Srishti? You have to think so long. Yeah? Can you take away Ishvara Srishti? No, absolutely not. You cannot do anything to Ishvara Srishti. And so this level of body identification based on the sensation of touch and based on karma, sensation of touch to protect oneself, and based on karma, because of the law of karma to express itself, is Ishvara Srishti. However, there is another tadatmya building on these two tadatmyas, building on these two identifications, which is called what? Bhrantija tadatmyam. Bhranti. Bhranti means what? Delusion. Maya mohau kshayam upagata. We saw that in the first line. So this is based on delusion. Delusion that I am as good as this body. This is Jiva Srishti. This is Pratibhasika. So can this be removed or not? Yes. How? By keeping on coming to the classes and the retreats. It's the only way. So a deluded, because I associated, because the I sense is associated with a particular body, doesn't mean that you have to make it confined to that body. And that sense of confinement to the body is an overlay of Jiva Srishti over Ishvara Srishti. Yeah. And therefore what? Therefore, leading to the deluded understanding, leading to the misunderstanding, I'm as good as this body. Dehe pushte aham pushtah, dehe nashte aham nashtah. If the body is okay, I'm okay. If the body is not okay, of course I'm not okay. This is why the Sakala Vapusha is difficult to understand and gain. But once this is understood, one can practice this. One can see that the delusion can be dropped in the wake of knowledge. And then, what else? Karanat bhinna rupam. So there is no, and so every effect is resolved in the cause, and the body itself is what? It's an effect. That's why the body is also resolved into the cause, Ishvara, which is oneself. That is another way of looking at it, seeing the body as an effect, as a product, as though product, as part of the Jagat. Because usually when we say Jagat, what do? We exclude the body, mind, sense complex and say, oh, look at that Jagat. Jagat starts with the body, starts with the mind, starts with the senses. And so, this is the way to do that. And if you do that, what happens? You can join the blessed ones. Nistray gunye pathi vicharatam ko vidhihi ko nishedhah. Hemnah karyam hutavahagatam. And here there is a correction. That second ma is not there. Hema eveti yadvat. Hemnah karyam hutavahagatam. Hema eveti yadvat. There is also a correction in the second line, the third word, rasam iva rase. Instead of samarasataya, rasam iva rase. Kshire kshiram. Rasam iva rase. Toyamevambu madhye. Evam sarvam samarasataya. Tvam padam tat padarthe. Nistray gunye pathi vicharatam. Ko vidhih ko nishedhah. Yeah, there is no such word as hemam. Heman is the word, neuter. Okay? So it should be hema eveti yadvat. And the samarasataya has been repeated twice, so we have to correct it. Rasam iva rase. Rasa here means mercury. So we will see the meanings of this in tomorrow's class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.